How's it going out there, YouTubers? Cyberneticshark here with another new movie review for you. So let's go right into this review and see what I saw. So welcome to another movie review, guys. As always, thank you for watching. Oh yeah. So anyway, this movie review happens to be a great film that just crossed the 1 billion mark worldwide last week. This movie is just a really great and finally a big hit for the DC universe, finally. This movie reminded me a lot more of like the awesome Marvel films that we've seen over the last 10 years. And I was really impressed with this film. I thought they did a really fantastic job, and just it was so well made. I ended up I've seen it 3 times now in theaters, once in 3D and then twice in 2D. And this movie, I can't get enough of it. I've had the wonderfulness of seeing it with 3 different people, and I think that this movie is such a great film and such an amazing film, just really well done and all. And like I said, DC's best to date. So you're probably thinking, oh, I know what he's talking about. He's talking about Wonder Woman. No, I'm not talking about Wonder Woman. That was a good movie, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about a movie that just got released December 21st of last year. And that, of course, is the awesome film Aquaman. Oh, yeah. Woohoo! So this awesome star-studded film is just an amazing film, like I said. So well done. I know a lot of the critics have been talking about how that a lot of them were not impressed by how the CGI hair looked while they're down in the water and so forth and stuff like that, and that some of the CGI effects weren't that great. I honestly thought they were fantastic, and they did a really amazing job. Even with the sound effects of how they're like supposedly talking underwater, I thought was really well done. And it really does suck that they didn't get any noms for special effects, because it really was well done, I thought, for what they had to work with. I mean, this is the first time we've really done like a full undersea film, where, people had to interact under the water with live action characters, really. I mean, they've done a little bit of that in the past, but I feel that this was really well done for, it being the first, like, superhero type of film that almost entirely takes place underwater. So, I mean, I think that's pretty impressive, and I think that it should have gotten more credit for how well they did with the special effects. I mean, even all the characters in the film were so well done. They all looked like the actual characters from the DC Comics, I thought, and they just did a really great job. So, to start off this awesome film, it's none other directed by an awesome director who I think has made some of the best films around. He's such an amazing director. He knows what he's doing. He knows how to make a great film, and is just a really great director. And that, of course, is Mr. James Wan. Now, James Wan, you might recognize as the director of the first couple Insidious films. You might recognize him as the director of Furious 7. You might recognize him as director of a few other films over the years. But a couple films I really enjoyed that he directed, and I think are some of his best work, are none other than an awesome film that came out in 2004. And it was the start of an awesome film series that I think is one of the best torture porn series out there. And I just think it's a great series. I loved every single one of them. Even its newest incantation that came out last year, that was almost 10 years in the making from the last film. And I thought that they just did a really amazing job, bringing back this awesome story. And that other is the awesome, like I said, 2004 film Saw. Yeah. I mean, he made such an amazing film. They supposedly shot this in 17 days. You had Cary Elwes in it, Danny Glover. You had a great cast. Monica Potter, who is so amazing and gorgeous, and is just a great movie. Just all set in that, little place, going off to a few other places throughout the film. The whole idea behind the character of Jigsaw, played by Tobin Bell, and just everything about it, like his writing along with Lee Whannell's writing, just was so perfect and blended, and he just directed a great horror flick. Really well done. If you have not seen Saw yet, you definitely should check it out. It's such a great film, people. Really well done, so amazing, and just a lot of fun. Now that brings me to the second film that James Wan directed that I think is an amazing film. Now this one stars Kevin Bacon, and it's kind of a revenge thriller type of film, taking the law into your own hands type of film that came out in 2008. And I think this movie is such an amazing film. I was blown away by it when I first saw it. It made me think a lot of like films like The Lookout with Joseph Gordon-Levitt, films like that, and it just was so well conceived. It was just a great film, great action sequences, great story, and just Bacon's performance in it was so awesome and intense, and such a good film. And that happens to be the film called Death Sentence. Oh yeah. I absolutely love this film. I think it's such a great film, and like I said, James did an amazing job directing it. I mean, from just the simple choreography of all the fight sequences and just the whole planning behind the whole film, it just was a really well-crafted film. And it has a lot of great, thriller moments, but also has a great dramatic element, too, that you could really home into yourself and feel like how you feel like if this certain situation happened to you, and so forth. Just a really well done film, amazing film, one of my favorites of his as well. If you have not seen Death Sentence, definitely check it out. Kevin Bacon kicks butt in it. It's basically, like I said, it's a revenge type of thriller film. Unfortunately, Kevin Bacon's son in the film gets killed, and the law isn't really taking care of the business, so he takes it into his own hands, and that's pretty much what the film is about. It's just a really awesome film. If you haven't seen it, definitely check out, people. Worth a watch. Now, when it comes to the directing of Aquaman, James Wan did an amazing job. Oh my gosh, he took it to a whole new level. He brought DC to where it needs to be, Marvel caliber. And he just directed this film so well. Like, every inch and part of this film was so well edited and so well crafted. And just where he is taking Aquaman, he did a great job of bringing out who Aquaman really is. The real characterization of what Jason Momoa wanted to bring, around for Aquaman's character and taking it. And it just was such a well done film. And great action sequences. He directed those so beautifully. He gave us a great new superhero film to love. And it's a great film. Really well directed by James Wan. One of the best directors around. And I can't wait to see more from him. Now, so this is where it brings us to the awesome cast of this film. So I just want to throw out some honorable mentions to begin with for this film. So we have other actresses and actors that were in the film that I really are not going to really talk too much about, but we also had, a few other characters in the film that were decent actors and actresses that did a great job in the film. And one of them happens to be Amber Heard. I don't care too much for her. I was really kind of pissed that they picked her to play Princess Mara, but at the same time, she did an okay job in the film, and it wasn't too bad, and she wasn't in it too much, so that was kind of a good thing. But other than that, she really wasn't anything great in the film, and she was not the best part of the film. Another honorable mention is the awesome actor that was in Attack of the Clones 2. Unfortunately, I can't remember his name offhand, but he played the base clone, or base person that created the clones, and Boba Fett's father, Jango Fett, in Attack of the Clones Episode 2 of the Star Wars trilogy. He plays Aquaman's father in the film, and he, I think, is such a great actor. I loved having him in the film. I thought he was fantastic, and I really enjoyed his performance as the father of Aquaman. I think that's really cool, and he did a really great job. Even in the earlier parts where it's supposed to be like 30 years prior, and he's like just first meeting Aquaman's mom and stuff like that. I think it was kind of funny how they gave him the hair in the film. I think that was pretty funny and silly, but still, he did a great performance in the film. It was, really awesome and really did a great job. And then, of course, one of the main antagonists in the film that's in this film that has also been in other James Wan films. He's done a few films. He did Hard Candy. He's done so many interesting films and stuff like that. He's a decent actor, I think, and that's Patrick Wilson. as of course, and I thought he was pretty decent as the Ocean Master in the film too. And he did a really good job too playing the character. And I thought he did a fantastic job. But I just want to throw out those honorable mentions before I mention my main actors and actresses that I'm going to be actually really talking about. So to start us off, we have none other than Mr. Aquaman himself. The awesomeness, the amazing and awesome person, Mr. Jason Momoa. Now, Jason Momoa, you might recognize from, of course, Game of Thrones as Al Ghul. You might recognize him from a film called Braven. You might recognize him from a few films over the years that he's done. But a couple of films I really enjoyed him and thought he was fantastic in was a great film that came out in 2011 and is kind of like a reboot of an already well-done series that Arnold Schwarzenegger started off. And that, of course, is the 2011 film Conan the Barbarian. Ooh, Conan, woo. Such an awesome character, and I wasn't too sure because, Arnold Schwarzenegger originally played the character. I loved Arnold in the film series, and I wasn't too sure how Jason Momoa was going to do. But after seeing the film, I thought he did a great job. I really thought he was awesome in it, and the action sequences were just so badass, and he did such a great job at them. And he really did portray Conan really awesomely, and I really enjoyed where he took the character and gave him kind of a new type of life and look. And he just did a really great job. It was really well done. And I thought that he did a great job of playing Conan and giving us an awesome new action flick and kind of a reboot of an awesome, already great series. Now that brings me to the second film that Mr. Momoa was in that I think is a fantastic role. Now this role wasn't very huge for him. It was a pretty short role. But at the same time, it was such a great, memorable little role that I could not pass up the opportunity to talk about this role. Now, this role happens to be a little character in a film called Johnson's Family Vacation. Oh my God, such a funny film. But his little role when they go into a casino and he's like one of the workers there and he pops up and he's supposed to be a Native American and stuff like that, and he's like kind of interacting with Solange Knowles and he's like kind of like trying to pimp himself out to her and stuff like that was just so freaking funny. And it was so funny seeing him because he's so skinny compared to how buff he is now. And so it was like that, and how baby-faced he looked and stuff like that too at the same time. It was just like such a funny, iconic little beginning role for him. And I just think it's a great role because he was like so freaking funny in it. And at the same time, he just did a really great job in that role, and I really enjoyed it. I just think he did a really fantastic job with that small little role. So, but it comes to playing Arthur Curry, aka Aquaman, in Aquaman. He was perfect. He played him to the T. He was so awesome and amazing. So well done. His humor is so perfect and just on point for the character. He's so great in the action sequences and the fighting and stuff like that, and he does an amazing job. And he really was Aquaman to me, and I really enjoyed him in the character. And I can't see anybody else playing Aquaman now because he's so iconic to him now. Kind of like how Robert Downey Jr. is Iron Man, and how Chris Evans is Captain America. How certain people are those characters. That's how Jason Momoa has become of Aquaman. He really is Aquaman, and doing future Aquaman films or movies that inquire or have Aquaman in it, he's got to be Aquaman. That's him. He is Aquaman now, and he really brought to the big screen who Aquaman is from the comics, and I really enjoyed that, and I think that he did a fantastic job, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of him as Aquaman. Next up on the roster is an awesome, amazing actress who I thought was a really great addition to the film. I was really surprised at first. I wasn't too sure about her, but after seeing her performance several times now as the certain character, she did an amazing job, and I thought she was really fantastic and a good choice. And that, of course, is Miss Nicole Kidman. Now, Nicole Kidman, you might recognize from a slew of films over the years: Dead Calm, Eyes Wide Shut, To Die For, Just Go With It, just a slew of freaking films. I mean, she's been around for many years and is just an amazing and fun actress. Now, a couple films I really enjoyed her in and thought she was fantastic in is none other than an awesome 2004 kind of remake, reboot film that was based off of a movie from the 1970s that was kind of made more into a comedy this time around versus it being being more of a drama thriller type of film. And that, of course, is the 2004 film The Stepford Wives. Oh yeah, I absolutely loved her character in that film. I think she was fantastic, hilarious. She was so perfect and pitch point. She was so funny and comical. I thought she worked so well with Bette Midler in the film. John Lovitz, Matthew Broderick, Glenn Close, Christopher Walken. Christopher Walken, Hey! When she was in that movie with me, it was fun. She worked so well with all those characters and just was so well done. And just interaction and everything, and it was so well directed by Frank Oz, and it was really well done and a great performance by her. I really enjoyed the character. I love how she went from kind of this headstrong Zach to this being this like blonde kind of robotic person, and I thought that was a really great transition and showed her acting talent. And I just thought she did a really good job. Really enjoyed her, and I thought she was fantastic in it. Really well done, and a great performance. If you haven't seen The Stepford Wives from 2004, definitely check it out, people. It's funny, it's great, it's a really good film. Definitely check it out. It's worth the watch. So coming up at her second film that I really enjoyed. Now, this is also a film that's based on a TV series from the 1960s. And it's not really... It's based on the TV series, but really isn't like kind of a live action movie about the show. It's more of about like the behind the scenes of like who the actors are and how they kind of are bringing back this TV show to modern times in 2005. And that, of course, is the film Bewitched. Oh yeah. Now, I know a lot of people didn't care for this film, but I thought it was fantastic. I really enjoyed it. I thought she was great as the Samantha character, like being like Elizabeth Ward in the film and like on the TV show and stuff like that, and being that character, and her interactions with Will Ferrell was so perfect and hilarious. Absolutely loved it. I mean, you had Michael Caine in the film, you had Steve Carell. I mean, you had a huge cast, and she just worked so well with everyone in the film. And she was like so freaking funny in the film. I loved her character. I love how she is in it. How she's kind of like this kind of nice person, but she has a dark side to her, and she takes that to her advantage. And her actually being a real witch too in the film makes it even funnier too, because it's supposed to be like, oh, it's like what's actually happening in the TV show, And they just did such a great job with it, and I thought she was fantastic as that character, and just did a great job, and made it so funny and hilarious, and she just did an amazing job. Really enjoyed her as the character, really enjoyed her in the film, and I thought she really showed her great comedy chops in the film. Now, it comes to an Aquaman. Like I said, I thought she was fantastic. I really liked her as the queen and Arthur's mother. I love how she was kind of badass in the film. She did some kicking ass type of scenes, stuff like that, which I thought was really cool. I thought that her persona of the queen and stuff like that was really on point and really well done. She was just a really great pleasure to see in the film, and I thought she did a really good job, and she, took my expectations of her performance and brought it all the way up. I thought she was a lot better than I thought she was going to be, and a really great addition to that film. Next up on the awesome roster of this awesome film is none other than a veteran actor who's been around for many years. Is an amazing actor, great at drama, great at comedy, great at action, great at, cartoon animated films. He's just an amazing, well-rounded actor. And that, of course, is Mr. Willem Dafoe. Now, William, you might recognize from a slew of films: Platoon, Boondock Saints, many, many films over the years. and that he's just such an amazing, all-around, well-crafted actor, and I absolutely thought it was fantastic he was in this film. Now, a couple films I really enjoyed him and thought he was fantastic in was none other than an awesome film that came out in the late 90s and is based on the original German Dracula film, Nosferatu. And it's basically about the actor that played Nosferatu from back in the early 1900s. And the awesome William Dafoe plays the character Mr. Max Schreck. And it's basically about the behind the scenes of making that film back in the early 1900s. And this film is just such an amazing film. And you might recognize it by the name. And that, of course, is the name Shadow of the Vampire. Oh, yeah. This is just an amazing film. And William was so freaking fantastic. He really brought to life what Max Schreck was, and who he was, and how he was, and why, a lot of what it was in the film was almost exactly how Schreck actually really acted and was. And a lot of people even say that, from what they've heard and what other people have told them, about, Schreck thinking he was an actual vampire and stuff like that he was actually kind of showing like a, making a film about his life, basically. And just the whole concept and all that stuff was just so well conceived, and William did an amazing job of portraying that and giving us that story, and it was just such a great and amazing film. If you haven't seen it, definitely a must-see. Put it on your bucket list. Such an amazing film, and probably one of William's best performances ever. He was so freaking good in it. Really well done, and really great job by William. Now, that brings me to his second film that I really enjoyed. Now, this was actually a voiceover role that he did in 2004, or 2003, actually. And this was, I just think he was perfect for the character. I think his voice went perfectly with the look of the character in this CGI film, and just was a great performance by William. And that, of course, is the awesome CGI Walt Disney film, Finding Nemo. Oh, yeah. So the awesome Finding Nemo film is just an amazing CGI film. Great voice cast throughout the whole film. Just a great story, and just a really well written and well directed film. And William's character in the film, he plays Gil, who is an aquarium fish that was originally in the Australian reef. And he's basically kind of like the leader of the aquarium that he's in. And, when Nemo gets caught and put into that aquarium, he kind of, becomes like his mentor and stuff like that. And I think that William did such an amazing job with that, and portraying it through his voice. And even with the CGI animation, I mean, they really portrayed it very well, too. And it just was such an awesome and amazing, performance by William. And I think just a great performance all around, the voiceover work. I really enjoyed him as the character, and I don't see anybody else as Gil either, because his voice is so distinct that it was pitch perfect and perfect with that character. Really well done, and a really great performance. Now, when it comes to Aquaman, I really enjoyed William in the film. I thought he was great as the character that he portrayed. I thought he was awesome kind of being on both sides and, working it and, like, being, like, the kind of the intermediate person in between this, correlation and all the craziness that's going on. And just, it was really well done performance. I loved him in the scenes. I loved his mentorship. I just loved his character, and I really enjoyed seeing the film. Really good and great job done by William. I think he was a great addition to the film, and just a really worthy performance of seeing him in the film. If you haven't seen Aquaman yet, definitely check it out from William. He was so amazing in it, and a great character in the film. So that brings me to the last awesome actor in this awesome film. Now, the last person on our roster is an awesome, amazing, combat, action hero, character, actor that has been in a ton of films over the years, done a lot of action films, does a lot of them, has put his comedy chops in a little bit over the years, and just an amazing action actor. And that, of course, is Mr. Dolph Lundgren. Oh yeah, Mr. Swede. I mean, he's just an awesome person, but at the same time, he kicks butt in every movie I've seen him in. From Universal Soldier to the other Universal Soldier he's done, to the Expendables. I mean, he's just an awesome actor, and I absolutely think he's great. Especially in, when he's as Drago and the fourth Rocky film and so forth. He's just an awesome, man, and he's awesome action, hero and action person and stuff like that. He's just really cool. So, a couple movies I really enjoyed him in and thought he was fantastic in was none other than an awesome 80s film that's based on an awesome 80s cartoon series. And he plays the main character himself. And that's just, this character is such an awesome character. And when he brought him to life, he was this character to me. And that, of course, is the awesome film Masters of the Universe. Oh, yeah. Him portraying He-Man, which is really awesome. And it's so funny that Frank Langella plays Skeletor in the film. I always think that's a funny tidbit. A lot of people don't realize that, but that's all behind that mask and that prosthetics and stuff is Mr. Frank Langella, who is an amazing actor as well. So I think it's so funny that him and Dolph Lundgren in a movie together, kind of being battle enemies. I think it's pretty funny and a great combo at the same time. But this movie is just really great. I thought it was a great rendition of the cartoon series. I thought Dolph did an amazing job portraying He-Man. He was perfect. He looked like him. He was buff and awesome looking, and just did a really great job. And just one of my favorite performances by him. I think he was perfect for the role. I think he was just really awesome in the film, and I thought he just kicked butt. Really well done film role, and a really great film too. If you haven't seen Masters of the Universe, definitely check it out, people. It's worth a watch. Really fun and really awesome. Really great performance by Dolph, and definitely worth checking out. So that brings me to the second film I really enjoy, and Mr. Dolph Lundgren, Mr. Drago. Anyways, so Mr. Dolph Lundgren, the second film I really enjoyed by him, is an awesome film that it's an interesting film from start to end, and it's got a great cast. Keanu Reeves is in the film, and it's just one of those films that you're like, this is really cool and kind of a cool idea of what the future could be like. And that, of course, is the film called Johnny Mnemonic. And Dolph Lundgren plays like the main villain in the film, and I think he's fantastic in it. I really enjoyed his character. I thought he was so stupid awesome. I thought he played the character to T. He really showed how he could be a really good villain versus being a hero type, kind of like he was in Rocky as Drago. And he just did a really amazing job of portraying that character and giving us a really kind of new villain we really hadn't seen before. And also at the same time, his action sequences were so awesome and so well done and just kicked butt. It just was a really well-rounded performance, and I really enjoyed it in the film. I thought he was really fantastic and just a great addition to that film. Really awesome and a great film if you haven't seen it. If you have not seen Johnny Mnemonic, definitely check it out, people. It's worth a watch. Really awesome, really cool film. And just a really well-rounded film altogether, including Dolph Lundgren being in it, along with working really well with Keanu Reeves. So when it comes to his performance in Aquaman, I absolutely loved him as Princess Mara's father. I think he was so awesome. I loved his look. It was so funny seeing him with red hair, and him just kind of having that, how he sounded underwater and stuff, and just his performance was really awesome. I really enjoyed him. It was kind of nice seeing him kind of be a middleman kind of character, like, because he wasn't really a bad guy, and he wasn't really a hero. He was kind of an anti-hero, I feel, and, kind of went with the flow type of character, and I really enjoyed that. And it was nice seeing him in kind of a different type of performance, and seeing him included in an awesome, superhero film, too, as well, where he really showed his awesome ability to act as, other things other than an action hero, too, as well. Because there was a little bit of drama to his character, I felt. And he just did a really great job. I mean, he just was a perfect choice for that character and was a great addition to the film and all. Really enjoyed seeing him, and I was so glad to see him in something new, too, and seeing him on the big screen, and it was just so awesome to have him to be in the film. Great all-around well performance, and just a great addition to the film. So if you're not familiar with what Aquaman is about, basically this is the origin story of who Aquaman is. So basically the film shows you his birth, to him kind of being trained, to him taking over, becoming the king of Atlantis, and what he has to interact with and what he has to, the challenges he has to deal with, basically, is what the film is all about. Really well done, like I said, really well conceived, just an all-around great film, and so well done by James Wan and everyone involved. Everyone did a great job, from editors to animators to the sound effects to the music. It just was a really well done film, and so beautiful of a film too, and just so graphically beautiful. Really well done film. If you have not seen it, definitely check it out, people. It's worth the watch. Amazing film. Really enjoyed it. Just a well-rounded film. Giant 10 golden movie boxes up on this one, and just a great addition to the DC universe, and so looking forward to adding this to my collection when it finally comes out. So that's it for this movie review, people. As always, thank you for watching. Thank you for liking. And also, thank you for subscribing. If it's your first time here, if you've been here before and you haven't hit that subscribe button, come on, people. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss this awesome video and the awesome videos I put up. And as always, people, keep your eyes out for any old or newer videos you might not have seen mine yet. And as also, people, check out the Awesome Stardust app. Awesome Stardust app is where you can watch 3 to 30-second little movie reviews, TV shows, trailers, anything your heart desires. Also, with awesome new polls and contests going on that's always being added, this is definitely an awesome free app to check out. So definitely check that out, people. Look for it. Look for me under the Cybernetic 13. Follow me, and I'll follow you back. And of course, people, remember there's an awesome contest going on right now. I'm giving away a free copy of Krampus, unopened with digital HD, people. And this awesome contest is going on, and like I said, all you have to do is you got to be a subscriber. 2, leave a comment, let me know that you're a subscriber and why you'd like to win the prize. And 3, watch the videos. That's it, people. Easy contest, easy free prize. Oh yeah, oh yeah. So definitely do that, people. Definitely check it out. Keep it in mind that this awesome contest is going. I'll be doing this contest probably through February 1st, and then that's when I'll pick a winner. So I'm giving people more of a chance to put in so that they can get into this awesome contest and so forth. Like I always say, catch you next one.